Let's just begin our practice as we typically do, just by doing a little bit of a stretch and feeling what the body might need in order to be comfortable once we sort of settle into a posture for the next 20, 25 minutes. So we don't want to be uncomfortable if there's a part of the body that's saying, oh, I don't know, I need a little massage or I need a little attendance or attending to, then please feel free to do that. We don't need to sit in discomfort. Again, ours is not as much a meditation practice in like a Soto Zen sense as it is a self-compassion practice. So we want to be really kind to ourselves and we want to listen to our bodies. And we want to notice if there's anything that needs adjusting. You know, if we're 15 minutes in and something's really bugging you, then very mindfully bring your attention to how do you need to shift in order to bring and invite comfort in. So no need to be in pain. So the final act that I like to do when I'm stretching and listening to my body before I settle into my posture for the sit is to just roll my shoulders back because that allows me to open up the heart space. It's an invitation to opening, to inviting in experience. And so feel free to practice with your eyes open with a soft gaze about 3 feet in front of you, or practicing with your eyes closed, just noticing as you close your eyes if there's any tension around the eyes, and just softening the eyeballs a little bit. Imagining perhaps a warm compress or a warm washcloth against your eyes to kind of invite some of that tension to relax. It doesn't have to be you don't have to let go of all your tension. That may not be possible, but we can try to soften 10, 15% even is something we can really feel. And we might just notice other parts of the body right now that might have a degree of tension, and we might be experiencing that as some clinging or some tightening or gripping in the body. And so, just like briefly doing a little body scan, noticing where you feel that, if you feel it at all. And again, inviting just a little softening, a little release. We have to get rid of all of our tension. We need some tension to maintain our posture, but we're really going after the unnecessary work that our body might be doing. Seeing if we can kind of call back our energy so that we're not using it for, needlessly. And let's just connect with our breath, just feeling the air moving into the body. Feeling the air moving out. And just becoming aware of how your body is in contact with the chair or the couch or the cushion that you're sitting on. Just noticing where you can feel the points of connection between your body and the piece of furniture. You might experience that as pressure or as weight, heaviness. And just allowing for the breath to inform your relationship with the furniture. So, what I mean by that is just seeing if you can notice the breath in that pressure point, in that place of contact. Does the breath, does the inhalation change the pressure or the experience of sitting on the couch or the chair? Does something shift, maybe very imperceptibly? And bringing awareness to the feet as well. If your feet are flat on the floor, you might notice the contact that you have where you're being held by the earth. And you might notice if the breath changes that relationship at all, the relationship of your feet. Perhaps it's your feet in your shoes and your shoes on the ground, or maybe your feet are directly on the ground. How does the sensation of inhalation and exhalation affect that relationship? Does it? Maybe it doesn't. Just waking up our curiosity about the information we're getting from our bodies. And we might also notice our hands. We're not moving our hands. We don't need to move them to notice them. All we have to do is shift our attention to our hands and wake up to the data that we've been receiving ever since we were born from our hands, but we just don't pay attention to. So now we're going to shift our attention and notice what the nerve endings of our fingertips are feeling. We don't have to move, we just tune in. Is there a texture beneath them? Can you sense the transfer of heat from your hands to your legs or to a table, wherever your hands are resting? Perhaps you have your fingers intertwined and you feel skin on skin. So without moving, can you just become aware of that information that your body is sending you? And again, how, if the breath changes that relationship, what do you notice? Can you feel the breath in your palms? So let's invite our awareness in a little bit closer to our felt experience by returning awareness to the breath. And just to kind of orient ourselves, let's just do maybe 2 or 3 deep kind of contrived breaths, ones where you're working at it. And just see if you can pull that breath down into the belly so you can really feel the mechanics of the diaphragm. This feels effortful, but it wakes you up to how things work, right? To how all the parts move together. When we take a deep breath, maybe another pulling that breath down into the pelvic bowl, into the dantian, feeling the expansion of the lungs, feeling all the moving parts. One last one, just to help orient ourselves to our experience of the internal mechanisms here. And now just falling into that natural, easy rhythm of breath. the same one we've been breathing since the day of our birth. The pace may have changed, but the breath, the mechanics of it, we've been practicing for a really long time. We should be really good at it. Just taking a moment here in this experience of this breath to see if we might have a pretty significant amount of activity going on in the thinking mind. And if we do, we can be gentle and tender with ourselves and yet redirect that awareness away from the thinking and just to the felt sense of the body as it breathes. And we might just check in to see if we have some sort of expectation that's at play right now about what this should feel like or what we're hoping to get out of it. And maybe seeing if we can release any attachment to what might happen in the next few moments or in the next 20 minutes. Can we just let that go and be with what is right now? Just this breath. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, because this moment may have something to teach us that defies our expectation or is different from our attachment to the outcome. It's different from what we expect. So, can we just allow this moment to unfold and bring to it only our awareness? So that means we have to give up control. That means we have to let go and just let the moment be and not know what it's going to be. And the mind's not going to go easily. So, just so you know, if you're thinking or planning or problem solving or rehashing something, that's okay because the mind does that. But for right now, we're practicing putting our attention where we want our attention to go, not letting the mind do its thing because it like gets chaotic. So, we want to redirect ourselves to this breath, to this moment, to the experience of breathing in and breathing out right now, letting go of anything we think we should be doing or any evaluation of how we're doing. We don't need to measure what's happening against anything. It's just what's happening. So you might just check in because the mind is kind of sneaky and it might be narrating your experience for you because it likes to do that a lot. But when it's narrating, it's kind of removing us from the direct experience of the moment. And often embedded in the narration is some expectation, some goal, some place you're supposed to get, or some way you're supposed to feel. So when we catch ourselves in narration, we really just want to try to come back to what the body is experiencing right now. How is this particular inhalation? What can you notice about it? Can you rest your awareness in it without getting 4 seconds ahead of yourself? And if you get lost here at all, it's always safe to go back to the experiences of the body, feeling the weight of the body, feeling the feet on the ground, feeling your hands in your lap. That's always a good place to go back to if you get disoriented or lost in the chaotic thinking mind, which is very seductive. There's always those thoughts we want to think about. You can come back to those later. Right now, we're releasing our control. We're surrendering to what's happening right now. So, kind of what we're doing right now is welcoming the part of us that doesn't know anything, the part of us that rests in beginner's mind, where this moment can teach us. We don't have to be the expert here. This breath can teach us if we can be brave enough and courageous enough to let go of our expectation and attachment. And that's no easy thing. What is here for you in this moment? So, when we let go of our need to know something or to get somewhere or to do something, we touch on that place of spaciousness. We touch on that place of being free from all the constructs and illusions that we create. We're just being in the moment. And you may notice a thought, a feeling, a sensation arise. And again, we're just allowing ourselves to be taught by the moment. So we acknowledge its presence, but we don't want to get caught up in story about it because that's the thinking mind at work. We just want to see it as it passes like a cloud across the sky. Ah, there's some anxiety. Oh, there goes perfectionism. And even as I say this, I'm aware that the trap here is to get caught in narration, but this is a place to begin. If this is a harder practice, just noting the things as they go by can help us not get caught up in the thinking. And then once we feel like we can acknowledge things without getting entangled with them, then we can let go of even the acknowledgement and just rest. Wouldn't it be glorious to have a few minutes of rest? Nothing is expected from us. Nobody's evaluating our progress, especially us. Just feeling the breath move in and the breath move out. So, in this place of beginner's mind, we can start to feel the sense that everything is really just as it is. It's just as it's meant to be. There's no need for us to orchestrate or shape the experience. We can just be in the experience, be of the experience without trying to make it something. This breath, this moment, so, in a few moments, we'll be transitioning out of our practice, but watch the mind because that sneaky mind, the second we know it's coming to an end, we're already like, 15 minutes from now. Let's really see if we can stay in the practice until the very end of it and maybe beyond, that we can take some aspect of this type of presence, this non attachment, this beginner's mind into the rest of our day, the rest of our lives. Whatever you may have glimpsed of that in this practice can be instructive beyond just sitting here on the cushion. We can take that into our lives. But let's just take a few more breaths here together as a witness and just allowing ourselves to be in this moment just as we are. This moment is just as it should be. And we in this moment are just as we should be. No need to be any different. And when we can glimpse and allow the moment to teach us and to be present in the moment without trying to shape or manipulate it, that's when we're at our true essence. That's when we're in touch with our true nature, which is love. It's just love. So let's just take a moment to expand our awareness now back into the sensation of feeling our bodies on the furniture with our feet on the floor, becoming aware of any sounds in the space around us. Perhaps noticing a scent in the air, the sensations of hot and cold. And inviting a gentle movement into the fingers and the toes, just a little gentle wiggle. And with our final couple breaths together, let's offer any benefit we may have received to those in the world who have lost their true nature for whatever reason. Those who might be fearful, those who might be angry, those who might be alone and isolated, holding them close to our hearts and hoping that they can find peace.